Hello everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Film Fanatic Fridays. Today we're going to be discussing a fairly unknown movie by the name of Begotten. We're going to be discussing whether or not it is art or if it is the work of an enormous ego. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Now I'd like to start by saying that no, I do not have a copy of this film. It's about $80 for VHS last I checked, and the DVD's even more expensive, about $200, and I just cannot justify that when it's completely free on YouTube right now, which I will leave a link down in the description for you guys. Anyway, let's get on with the video, shall we? Now, the movie is told as a retelling of the book of Genesis from the Bible, and yes, it is a very morbid and twisted tale indeed. The imagery is fantastic, the cinematography work is fantastic, but it was so incredibly bizarre in its execution that you still are left scratching your head. I've watched this movie about 4 times now trying to come up with a way to explain this, a way to review it, and I just cannot. It's just such a strange movie. I have not seen any other film like this to this day. There's one that comes close, and that movie is called Eraserhead. Great movie, but it's not anywhere near as bizarre as this film. Now, what makes this film so bizarre is the fact that you just don't know what's going on. You see all these weird, screwed up images, and you just are wondering, well, what am I watching? That's where the movie becomes art, I guess you could say. And I know that there's 2 opposite ends to this movie, and you either love the movie or you hate it. And if you love the movie, you're an art snob, and if you hate it, you're an uncultured swine. So, you know, it's like politics with this movie. There's always some kind of formidable debate to be had about this movie. But, to summarize, yes, it is art. If you have to ask that it is art, it is art. And however bizarre and strange this art is, it is still art. It's not your average run-of-the-mill movie. It's not like The Avengers, or it's not like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a moving picture, as David Lynch said. A lot of movies do this, and unfortunately they're not super popular, but Begotten is exactly that. It's a moving picture. You can't take it as a AAA Hollywood film. You have to take it as a picture. That's the best way I can describe it. So as the film begins, you see this man killing himself. He's dressed in white, or I think white, and he's sitting in a chair, and you see him killing himself, and there's blood everywhere, and he eventually dies. This turns out to be God, and the character's name, as per the credits, is actually God killing himself. That is the character's name. So, from the guts on the floor, Mother Earth is born, and this is when things get really weird. She comes to be as a full-grown woman and instantly goes to God's corpse, starts arousing the body, and impregnates herself with the seed. Like I said, this was probably the most unique and bizarre thing I have seen in a movie ever. So some time passes, and you see the way this brief moment is shot, in which she is progressively getting more pregnant, I really like how creative it is. She's standing next to a coffin, and of course the coffin contains the body of God. It gives this morbid sense of family, I guess you could say, and I thought it was brilliant. So eventually Mother Earth gives birth to a full-grown man. He is a convulsing, horribly disfigured mess, and he's very unsettling to look at when he just sits there and twitches and burps all day. I don't understand what he is exactly, but apparently he's a form of a god, and he's basically God rebirthed. So after the Son of Earth is reborn, these natives come along who are dressed in this weird outfit, like robes and masks and such like that, and they kidnap both Mother Nature and her son. Of course, they rape Mother Nature in horribly grotesque ways, and the movie doesn't stray too far from that. You see pretty much everything that's going on. Then they proceed to abuse and use the Son of Earth, and use him to, I guess, bestow themselves with blessings of different kind. This goes on for, I think, about a half an hour of the movie, and that's about all I got from the movie, is that Mother Nature just got raped, and the Son of Earth is getting abused. That's all. Like I said, I don't know how to review this movie. Now, the film is unarguably fascinating in how it presents itself. As I said, this is the most unique and bizarre film I have ever seen. And I've seen quite a few films in my lifetime, and nothing has struck me as this film has. Honestly, I'm surprised that a lot of aspiring filmmakers haven't adopted the style of Begotten. Maybe because they couldn't understand it like I have, or I guess lack thereof. And as I said, during this period in which Mother Earth and the Son of Earth were kidnapped, I lost myself after I learned that, okay, this is what they're doing to them. That's where this film kind of falls flat, is it has to drag out these scenes. Honestly, this film could have been a significantly shorter film. It could have been a 10-minute film had they would have just cut off the meat and gave us the dish. It's a horrible metaphor, but that's basically what I'm trying to say. They drag out a lot of moments, I guess, to make their point across and to make us feel more inclused. Look, the movie's even got me confused again. I guess to make us more confused with the movie. I'm still pronouncing things the wrong way. To make us more confused with the movie. And again, that's where the art aspect comes in. I can't take this movie as a film. I have to take it as a moving picture, as I said earlier. Honestly, had the movie been significantly shorter, it would have been even more impactful, in my opinion. I feel as though the director didn't have enough confidence in exploiting the discomforts of the viewer. He made me uncomfortable within the first 3 minutes of the movie. Once I saw God's penis getting erect, I was like, it's gonna be one of those films, huh? But past the run times, I can take this film for what it is, and that is a moving work of art, as I have said multiple times now. That's just what it is. It's a painting in film form. You have to take it like that. You cannot watch this expecting all the answers to be laid out for you. You cannot watch this expecting a AAA style movie. You have to watch this as though you are going to an art museum and going to ponder life over a painting. That's what this is. This is what it was intended to be. And if it wasn't, then it's a horrible movie. If I ever met the director of this movie and he said, no, it wasn't meant to be a work of art, then I would look at him and say, that is possibly the worst movie I've ever seen then. All I'm gonna say is if cinematography did exist at the dawn of time, Begotten would be the pinnacle of that. Begotten would be that first film, I guess you could say. This would be the film that we all ponder over. This would be the cave paintings that we look at, because that's what Begotten is. Watching it as well fills you with a sense of pain, I guess. There's so many images of pain being produced that it can't help but make you feel that way. That's where that discomfort comes into play. And the symbolism of that is, of course, well, mankind's ruining Mother Earth and killing God in the process. Honestly, Begotten is a one-of-a-kind experience. Even if it does overstay its welcome at times, it is something that I would say every film buff should experience at one point in time. Even if you're not a fan of horror films, it's good to see different styles of film, I guess you could say, aside from the usual CGI and big-time movie makers. This is something that is so raw and refined at the same time that you just can't help but be in awe of the quality of its work. It uses the imagination against us, and it just plays on our emotions, it plays with our feelings, and it plays with what makes us human. And that's why the film is such a genius film, in my opinion. Begotten is totally original, totally bizarre, and I recommend it to any of my fellow visuals to give it a try. Just pick it up or watch it on YouTube. As I said, it'll be in the link down in the description. Just give it a try and let me know what you think down in the comments below. But that's all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay rotten, everybody.